Hey friends, Fifi and Meryn here.
You're listening to the LP Sessions podcast. Hey everyone, welcome to our next episode of
LP
LP Sessions.
sessions.
Yeah,
Excited.
excited. This is one we've been talking about since that time we were coming from the gym, and we were like, this would be a great thing to speak about because it's so important, isn't it?
Yes. And it's just up our alleys.
It's just about athletes. I remember that time in somewhere in that little game reserve in Limpopo where we were talking people's ears off.
And we became known as the personality people.
Yes, I remember. That was funny.
Yes, that was funny. So today we're talking about basically understanding how people are wired.
It's this idea that leaders must be able to understand people, that the ability to unlock the potential in people rests on actually understanding that people are different and have a particular personality and a particular wiring. And so that's what we're going to be talking about, how as leaders we work with the different wiring of people. Is that kind of like what we're going to be doing?
Definitely. And one thing I thought about is how, as a leader, you want to be able to extract the best from your team. Yeah. Whether your goal is just productivity or as a kingdom leader, you want to steward people well and what God has put in them. And understanding even just a little bit of how people are wired and how they might be motivated differently from you, how they might have different fears and different ways of reacting under stress. It's just really helpful rather than feeling really powerless when you just don't understand why someone is not coming to the party, why they're not contributing.
I think that's now that even as you were speaking, I was thinking about this idea that God is the one who designs people the way they are, and I think we owe it to them, to the Lord in a sense, to discover how God has wired people and to work with that. Yeah. They're not tools for us to fit into the cog where we need them, but we realize that God has designed this person. We did it. And it's so good.
And he designed them good, and they're different from you, and that's good too.
Yes.
So not everybody has to be a personality junkie like us, but a bit of proficiency and general understanding goes a long way. And one of the frameworks we decided to use a little bit today, we'll share a little bit about it, is some of the DISC.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
We decided. Yeah. But just because it's a helpful general explanation of some different wirings, and we won't overload people.
Yeah, and I mean, DISC is definitely one of the ones which is simple to use.
Yeah.
I've always had a bit of ambivalent relationship with DISC, but I have realized that there's power in the simplicity of it. So yeah, let's chat about it today.
So a bit of an overview. There are kind of 4 main temperaments in the DISC, but most people have a combination of a top 2. Some people even have a strong top 3. We all have all of them. But you'll see, there's tests and stuff out there that you can take to see which predominant quadrant that you fall into. Mm-hmm. So the first one.
Yeah, you can go for it. Keep going.
Is, using DISC, D is for dominance. Mm-hmm. And these are people who easily take control. They are goal-driven, mission-driven. They work hard. They're actually great under stress, and they're able to carry a heavy load without buckling. They can take the pressure, and they're very direct. And they also appreciate it when people are direct back with them. So they can be a bit blunt for others if you're very strong in D. Anything else you would say on that one?
Yeah, I think that little, often it's referred to as dominant driver.
Yes.
And there's a lot of drive, a lot of desire to accomplish goals, and very goal driven, just generally.
Yeah.
So if you, that's one of the ways you recognize if you have a D personality is, there's this constant drive to achieve.
Definitely. And just a little story, when I was in au pair for a little while, both of my kids were quite strong personalities. The one was definitely a D and the other was an ID. But I knew with these strong willed kids, it's in their nature to almost ask, are you in control or am I? And it's not a bad thing, but I would just notice a cycle of almost a little bit of pushing or unraveling.
Yeah.
And I knew I needed to, because I'm the adult,
Yeah.
stick to my guns, be firm, and we'd go through these cycles. But it's not that they wanted to be the adult, but it was in their nature to ask through their actions who's in charge.
Yes.
And they actually felt safer knowing I'm not in control.
Yes.
And that's even from a young person.
Yes.
And I think sometimes if you're not very secure, it can feel threatening when maybe someone on your team has the nature to check, just checking, are you in control or am I? And sometimes that comes through words, but often it comes through actions.
Yes.
And it's, actually when the lines are drawn clearly for them, this is how it works here. It leads to a sense of security. I know my lane. This is how I can run in it. And
yeah, that's very good. Very, very good. Yeah. So you can keep going with the other three.
Yeah. So the next one is I for influence. And these are the people that are people's people. They are, I want to say exuberant. They're fun. They love good vibes, affirmation. They're bubbly. They're sociable.
Yeah.
They are expressive. What else would you say?
Yeah, all of those things.
Yeah.
Very often this is, I mean, the two D's, primarily D personality and I personality tend to be extroverted. And the I personality especially extroverted towards people and social relationships and influencing people and connection, and they tend to be larger than life, and they love being, I mean, this is a bit of a caricature, but often they don't mind being the center of attention, and that's often you'll find this type of personality.
And they bring a sense of fun and a good time to the whole team, which is great for bonding, honestly. Yeah. So for relationships, where D's are also extroverts, but they're more task orientated, but I's are people.
Really well explained.
Thank you.
Keep going.
Steadiness is the next one. And these people are great team players. They come to the party, they put their head down and get stuff done. I'm not explaining it well. Will you explain steadiness?
I think they tend to be agreeable. They tend to be calm, steady,
and loyal.
They're
willing to work hard for the team to get stuff done. And they're able to put their head down and be supportive and kind of go. And then the last one is C. So C is compliance or conscientiousness. And these are the people who like things to be done properly. They value excellence. They have a need for it to be done right. They're quite detail orientated and information driven.
And they'll often be the people who will cross the T's, dot the I's. They'll keep the team to high standards. Yes. They really, I mean, the bane of their existence is like sloppiness or cutting corners. So I think you explained it really well, actually.
Yeah, so that's an overview. And like I said, we are all a combination of all of the above. My lowest is probably D, but how that shows up for me is I do have a driver's side of I can just go until the task is done. Yeah. In a...
Yeah, you definitely can.
Yeah.
No, that's a significant part of your personality. Yeah. So it's like, and as we were just bringing these up, you were probably like recognizing these things. I mean, many of you would have done the DISC thing because it's often done in corporate settings and various settings, but you would have recognized certain inclinations. And I like to refer to them as inclinations because they're ways which we naturally go, but it doesn't mean that we can't step outside these.
Yes.
Which indeed. You actually brought through brilliantly earlier on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, how have you found understanding people and how they're wired has helped in team settings or in leadership?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. Because I found, I mean, and this is just my personal wiring has always just been this way. I found that one of the most helpful things for me, if I define leadership not as getting people to do what I want them to do, but as bringing the most out of a team, I found this thing has been so helpful. Because people are motivated in different ways. People enjoy different environments. People find different things stimulating. There's certain things which are put off for people and really limit their productivity, and so this idea, I think every leader needs to deal with both uniformity and difference. There are times when you do need to create structures and systems that deal with this uniformity. But every leader also needs to understand that people are different. And so that's really helped me very much. I mean, sometimes I've had a very difficult person on a team, and they were so different from me that I couldn't tell why this person was not self-motivated. And it required
What were they like? Just a little bit.
Well, for one thing, you would have to check up on them constantly to get them to do something. And I would be like, well, if I was given this task, I would do it. And then I would ask, is there anything else or whatever? This was not that person. And I just needed to realize how this person was motivated. And the second the person had some clear guidelines, like this is what is expected of you, this, then, they felt a lot more at ease and their productivity jumped.
Wow. Yes.
So that really helped.
That reminds me of, I noticed the staff dynamic before where part of my portfolio was holding people accountable to what they were meant to do. And I knew certain people, and this person in particular was strong in D. If I went through all of the details of what was in their job description to check, how are you finding this? How are you doing that? Like immediate tackles up. They did not feel supported. They felt micromanaged, frustrated, demotivated. And for them, it would be more big picture, but showing respect for their capability and your belief in what they do. But somebody else, they would have felt completely unsupported if somebody didn't go through the details of how are you finding this? How are you doing that? Can I come alongside you? Can I work through this with you? And how we can come to, and they were high in S and I. And it was just knowing what would make somebody feel motivated and supported. And if I just gone with my default and projected that onto people, it wouldn't have been a productive meeting for either of those people.
That is such a good point. I mean, I can definitely see myself in one of those. I often feel insulted if someone explains to me the details of
what's already on your plate.
For me, just paint the big picture, let me figure it out. I mean, I am frustrated by if it's unclear, then I feel like I'm going to fail at this task. So then I don't enjoy that. But I'm very, very happy to color in the bit in between. But I know some people, and because of that, I treat people sometimes like they were me. And I notice how uncomfortable it makes them. And so this thing that you're talking about, why is it so important, is that if I didn't have this, like some of the tools with personality, I would be like, hey, I'm treating you well. Why are you complaining? Why do you look unhappy? Because I wouldn't understand that what works for me doesn't necessarily work for them.
And that can be such a frustration for someone in a leadership position where, like you said, there's a particular person and you just don't understand. They're not coming to the party. They're not, in your eyes, they're not pulling their weight. And maybe they literally aren't. They're not meeting the KPIs.
Yeah.
And when you just feel stumped and you don't know what to do to engage them, to get them from point A to point B, sometimes it's because you're projecting how you're motivated and wired onto them.
Totally.
And it can really help in thinking about, what would growth for this person look like? What would help them change?
That's so good. So good.
Yeah.
And it comes back to one of our primary values in leadership. It's that leadership is not about getting other people to do things for your little kingdom. But it really, primary leadership work is about getting the most out of everyone on the team. And so I remember reading this book, The Life-Giving Leader, puts this so well. Some leaders, because they take the time to understand people, are able to bring the best out of their team. And everyone in the team feels like an A player.
Sure.
Because they're being put in a lane where they can run fast. The gifts in them are recognized and called forth. They're not being squashed. Whilst there are some what I would call life-taking leaders, they might be inadvertently doing this. But what they feel is just the crushing responsibility of living in someone else's way of doing things.
Sure.
And that can be crushing.
Yeah.
And that can remove the fire and the passion for doing the work.
Yeah.
And so leaders who take the time, and I know I'm going on a bit long, but I wanna share that story that I chatted with about the person when we were preparing. And I once worked with this leader who, amazing leader in one sense, but the person was constantly frustrated by the team. And what the leader would say is, just tell me what you want and then I'll do it. I'll create an environment for you and just tell me. And I remember them complaining to me once that it's just so frustrating that I have to figure out how to help these guys to why can't they just get it done? And I thought, you have been working with these people for 3 whole years. It is your responsibility to figure out how they're wired as a leader. It's not like they joined the team yesterday. And if you don't have the curiosity, love should drive curiosity.
Sure.
That's the whole thing about it, being a leader, is that you care enough to figure out what motivates your team. And now I understand there's a side where as followers, we also have to learn how to follow.
Yes.
And understand that the leader's personality is to some degree is limiting, but a leader who loves their team will figure out how to create an environment where everyone can flourish.
Sure. That's so good.
Yeah.
Helpful.
Have you been in circumstances like that? Either you as a leader or someone else that you have led and you've seen this life-giving principle?
Well, I noticed that because I'm into personality things, this was on my radar, and I think it helped me almost catch myself in what would have been an instinctual response, probably similar to the person you were describing. I wonder if they were high in C. I'm like, it should be done right, so why doesn't everybody else want to just do it right? um, but there was someone else on staff, but not a direct report, and I just remember they were not great, i.e., they were actually really bad with producing anything of quality. It's like you obviously never proofread anything you wrote was full of mistakes. It didn't even really make sense. And for me, it's just like this is so sloppy, and everything I'm geared to notice is just not done well, and it's just so frustrating. And it kind of rises up and you're like, how is this acceptable? I was very young. So I've chilled out. But I realized, it doesn't help to, you want to kind of sit them down and point out everything they're doing wrong so that you can notice, so that you can learn and do better. Like, don't do this, do this.
Yes.
But what I realized, they were just very, very, very people, all that. They were amazing at actually like managing people directly.
Yes, interpersonal connection.
Interpersonal and leading people, amazing at leading teams. And like fantastic personality, like full of fun, and actually had a very, very strong leadership gift. But they just were not great with the details of follow through, or like sitting down to like finish something and dot the I's and cross the T's. And I realized, it's the last thing someone with my temperament would feel like doing is giving them encouragement or affirmation. Because I'm like, but no, what you did is not good enough. So why would I encourage you? But actually, what motivates eyes is approval and being affirmed and liked and affirmation. So when you give them praise, it makes them want to do even better. But for me, I almost felt too fearful to praise anything because I'm like, then they're going to think what they did was fine. But that's not how it would work for them.
Yeah.
Somebody with like who's an eye like that. So and I did try and make sure to like call out the treasure and affirm who they were and things I appreciated. And I knew it doesn't feel like it to me, but I know for them it translates and connects and helps them show up better and be more motivated to even do the other things well.
I love that. And one thing that I mean, I love the fact that you were able to realize what motivated them, even though it wouldn't necessarily be like, wow, but it was recognizing their personality. But I also love the fact that our personality is not an excuse not to do things well,
Yeah.
But if you recognize it, then you're able to help someone from where they are to where they could be.
Definitely.
There will never be, the cheerleader will never be your accountant. But
you need a cheerleader.
yes, you need a cheerleader, and the cheerleader can maybe create some tables. They can get better.
Yeah. And sometimes it comes down to, it's almost like a war of values. And I find what I value and think is most important, actually, other people don't value the same way or think that that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
And just as, so like I's and C's are almost the polar opposites. So just as for me, what I would think would be ideal for a team or an organization, to somebody else, that's like, well, that's the worst. Because, for example, for me, somebody could come into a team environment and think like, oh, this is so cold, so task driven. They don't care about people at all. There's no relational side, no warmth. If it's just about just do things right, just do it properly. Obviously, I'm talking in extremes because we're all a mixture.
Yeah.
But, on the other hand, if you just have like, oh, everybody gets along great, we have so much fun together, we're all so inspired through the roof, we feel like every day like we want to go and take the world because the eyes are just flourishing.
Yes.
But maybe everything's done sloppily if there's no.
Yes.
So I also realized there are certain things that if this is not present in this team or this environment, even people, for example, in the church, you don't realize what you're missing. That could be such a key ingredient for someone coming in.
Yes.
To feel this is healthy, this is a place for me. And we need all of the different things from the driven mission D's to the S people who are so loyal, they're so willing to help others. They bring this steadiness and this stability.
Yes.
And they actually are willing to let a lot slide.
Yes.
And not kick up a fuss because they're loyal to what's happening. So we need all of the different things. And when you can see somebody else is different from you and value that, it brings strength to everybody.
Yes. And I agree so much. I mean, team ministry is one of those principles which you don't see its value until you see it functioning brilliantly.
Yeah.
Then you're like, this outshines any mono gift team, mono expression team. But they've done studies on leadership studies where they say a poorly functioning team will be a diverse, poorly functioning team will be outdone by a completely homogenous, well-functioning team.
Which is fascinating.
But if a team is diverse and functioning well, it kicks the butt of a team that is completely homogenous.
And that makes so much sense. Yeah. So much sense.
And also, this is the other thing I think. I think God grows empathy in us as leaders by giving us people who are different from us. And when you recognize, wow, this person has this, then it makes you look at yourself and go, wow, I have limitations. It makes us humble. It makes us realize that, for example, I'll take our marriage. We're quite different in our approach to emotions. And it is so good for me to see the more emotional touch, because then it makes me go, well, wow, I need to check my ability to just be just factual, and it softens the edges. And I think different personalities, they drive up the wrong way, but God is at work in us through that.
And sometimes it's bringing out a blind spot for you. That's
it, blind spot.
It's an opportunity to mature.
Well said, well said. So how does someone grow in their ability to, it's all good in saying, hey, if you're not finding out and learning people, you're not being as loving as you could be. And I firmly believe that.
Yeah.
But what about the person who's out there and going, well, I get that, but how do I grow in this?
I think one way is to get to know yourself and become curious.
Yes.
Because when you see yourself, it also helps you to see others better compared to not having a framework for how you're wired and how you're not. It kind of creates awareness. And another one I would say is to just develop a curiosity for the people around you. Even if you're not into personality stuff, a few open-ended questions and a genuine listening heart without an agenda. To just find out like what's really going on. How do they express themselves? How do I connect with this person? How do they articulate what they'd like to see, whether it's in the team or the workspace? And you'll begin to find out what they value and how they're wired. And then to have an open-handedness for how can I honor that and incorporate it and give voice to it. Even if it feels different from the direction I had for right now, it could very well add to that. So just being willing to be open, curious, and develop awareness.
So good.
That's off the cuff. What would you say?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I don't think I have much to add to that. I would say find a system that works well for you and use it, but use it with an open hand. There are a million one of these personality or temperament things, and all of them have good sides and bad sides. And they can also be overused, and they can be used to box people. And I know a lot of people have caution with these tests because they're like, oof, I find them really boxing and so on. Don't be that person. You are a D. Rather talk about expressing D qualities or I qualities, or and then use it, but use it with an open hand, so that you use it as a way of bringing some level of clarity, but realizing that people are always people. And people don't act according to a pattern. I wish they did. My personality would love it if people were, but people are flexible, and people are emotional, and people are many things. So I would say that. I love Myers-Briggs. It's a little bit complicated, but I've spent a large part of my adult life working with it. So very comfortable with it. Disc is simpler and it's a useful one.
Yeah, yeah. And it's helpful for just a quick framework for how people function under pressure and sometimes why they make some of the choices that they do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's, I mean, I think that is, yeah, it's very helpful.
What's one take home for you on leaders who get people?
My take home would simply be this. It is a steep learning curve to think differently, like, well, how do I create an environment that unlocks other people and unlocks people in the team? Because, to be honest, it's much simpler just to get everyone to fall in line. But the payoff will be astronomical. Because ultimately, like I said earlier, our greatest resource as a leader is the people that we have working with us. They will bring things to the table that we could never bring. And so for me, I would say start. It's a sharp learning curve, but start. The payoff will be life-giving. And it also comes with a change of mindset, a change of defining leadership as more about serving people and unlocking them than it is just about getting the most out of them. Yeah.
So true. So
What
good.
would you say is a take home for this?
I would say is how valuing diversity leads to much greater productivity.
Yeah.
And I think at first it could feel, oh, there's a bit of a time investment in taking the time to get to know what everybody's actually like instead of just holding on to what you would like them to be like.
Yes.
But when you are able to extract what's inside of people, I think you'll find the gifts that they have to bring that you could have never turned up, that added to your project or your team or your organization in ways that you never knew you really needed.
Yes.
And it's a game changer.
Yes. So, so good.
Yeah. And so the willingness to also to understand someone, to be curious, leads to greater impact.
So good. So good. And I actually think, I mean, I know we're getting close to the end of this podcast, but here's something that I think is one of the most useful tools is those 6 working geniuses. You and I have been dealing with that for so long, and I love that it's working genius. What's the middle one? I know there's working frustration, working genius,
And competency.
and working competence. And the way it works, and I won't go into a lot of detail about this, but working genius is those areas where you are strong, you feel in the zone, it actually adds energy to you. Then there are working competencies, which are those things which you can do, but they're not exactly setting your hair on fire, you know? And then working frustrations are those things which absolutely drain you, and you want to do as little as possible of these things. And I would say um, that's a good way of looking at things for a team.
Definitely.
Get people working as much as possible in their geniuses.
Yes.
Sometimes they'll have to work in their competencies. That's fine. Everyone has to. But as far as possible, I mean, it's not always possible. As far as possible, keep them away from their working frustrations for long periods, because you might think, well, we just need as a team to pull together. Everyone just all hands on deck. Work hard at making people work in their strong spots.
Yes.
Because you as a team will reap.
And it leads to less burnout.
Less burnout. Yeah, explain that.
And that's something with the working frustrations is if you try to spend a lot of time doing what really drains you to do and you're not good at, is that you quickly start to feel burnt out. It drains you way more quickly than your genius, obviously, but your competency too.
Yeah.
And I think that's something else when you know what someone is good at, that you can play to their strengths without looking at, oh, I want them to show up more in this area. How can I try and get them to do this more effectively, do it more, put more efforts in? when sometimes it's just actually, how about we shift things away to somebody who they're amazing at that and shift the load where it plays to their strengths. So it's a different way of seeing people and seeing team. And it's less, let me focus on my weaknesses to bring it up, but actually I acknowledge that we all have to grow, but also play to the strengths.
That is so good, because I've found, and this is me being completely honest, I really struggle in environments where there's lots of detail required of me. And part of the problem is sometimes I'm so willing, but I keep missing the details, and then it smashes my sense of confidence, because no matter how hard I try, I don't learn very quickly in that area, and I keep making errors, and I have a high value for competence. So I feel embarrassed and ashamed, but I keep, and the people, this is real life now for me, and the people who are leading me keep going, well, let's help you to do this better. And inside, I'm like, I don't want to be a flake. Yes. So I just get it. I just do it. But I'm like, I'm dying, and I'm like, I don't want to do it better.
Yeah. And like you said, it makes you feel worse about yourself than reality actually is, because you have areas where you're a genius, and it's almost demeaning when somebody's trying to explain something to you, like maybe you just need some help, when actually
yeah, you captured that well.
So
yeah, and
that's
you start forgetting
demotivating.
about your geniuses,
Yes.
actually, and they kind of shrink, and all your energy goes into the. And as a leader, you have the ability to help people to function in the lanes which are working geniuses.
And even permission to see for yourself, actually, I'm great here. I know these areas I need to try and put the least of my day towards and get someone else to do it, delegate. But I used to really feel like if I was bad at something, I should just work at it harder to make it. If you think of your school report, you want to get firsts or A's in every subject. So obviously the worst subject, you just have to work harder to get it up to the rest. And it's not like that in life. Or you don't get points, you don't get marks for throwing needless energy into areas where it's really not your lane, and that's okay. But you're the only one who can recognize that and make different choices. Maybe that's sometimes shifting roles or having a medium long-term plan to do something different. But it's way more worth it and positions you to better steward the call of God on your life when you honor who He made you.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
I love that.
So, soapbox moment.
Yeah.
Anyway,
brilliant.
to end things off.
I think that is the perfect place to end things off. Thank you for watching.
Thanks, guys.
And thank you for. You probably realized. I mean, we're going to talk a lot more about these things. This is what as we have dinner together. These are the things that come up on a walk on the beach. That's fun for us. So, but we also realize the great value in it. So, I hope that blessed you.
Yeah.
Have a great day.
Have a great day.